Dagnabbit. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Amanda Ray. Whenever I was 17, almost 18 years old, I left the cult that I was born in. If you are interested in hearing more about that, I will leave the links to those videos in my description box down below. Today I'm going to be answering a question that I've gotten from a lot of you guys, which is what happens to members from my cult who are born with disabilities. So I've gotten this question from quite a few of you. It's kind of not a happy thing. I thought that this is something that deserved a full video, so I'm going to be answering that question with a true story. I'm going to tell you guys about a woman that I grew up with in the cult that I was born in. To protect her identity, because she's a real person, I'm just going to call her Athena. I chose that name because I know that no order members have that name, so we're just going to call her Athena. Athena was born in the order back in the 1980s. She was born to a normal polygamous family back in the cult. A very big family, lots of siblings, a few sister wives. But from a very young age, Athena's family could tell that she wasn't excelling as fast as the other kids her age. She wasn't on the same mental level as the rest of the kids her age. They started to notice this the most when she hit about age 7 or 8, and she kind of stayed at that level of like an 8-year-old. As the rest of the kids progressed, she didn't really understand like normal social skills. She stopped being able to connect to the kids that she was growing up with because they were growing faster than she was. But that didn't stop her family and the order from putting her in Sunday school and marriage prep classes and all of the normal classes that the other girls in the order had to go through. Even though Athena was not mentally on the same level as her peers, she was still expected to do what the rest of the girls did. So Athena had a job from a young age, just like the rest of the girls her age. She worked at the private school with her family, helping with lunch lady duties and janitor jobs. So basically she cleaned and just helped anywhere she could. I don't know 100% if she got paid. Like, if I were to put my money on it, I would say she did not get paid. She went to church just like the rest of us, and when the leader would announce it's time for separation, as he did every Sunday, she would separate and go to her classes as well, just like the rest of us. She was kind of treated I don't want to say she wasn't treated as if she didn't have a disability, but kind of she was expected to perform all of these same jobs and responsibilities as any one of us. Other than, I'm sure, like, they didn't have her drive and things like that, but she still was expected to work and expected to go to church and to Sunday school, and eventually she saw the rest of the girls her age getting married, and you would think that because of Athena's disability, they would not push her to get married. But as I've talked about before in my videos, women in the order are a very big, what's the word I'm looking for? Women in the order have a job to fulfill. That's the best way I can say it. And because Athena was a woman who could potentially bear children and bring more members to the kingdom of God, they started to prepare Athena for marriage. Athena's family would pray to find out who God wanted Athena to marry, to find the direction for Athena. Time had passed, and Athena was a little older than the average girl in the order to get married, but eventually Athena was married as a polygamous wife. She was not the first wife. I think she was the third or fourth wife, but I know for a fact she was not the first. So they had a wedding, a ceremony, a spiritual wedding, and she became a plural wife. Now, as I said before, Athena's mental capacity was not that of an adult. It was more of a child, maybe 7, 8 or 9 years old, somewhere around there. I personally believe she was pushed and coerced into marrying into I believe a lot of the women that are without mental disabilities are pressured into these types of marriages, and I feel like Athena's family kind of failed her by doing that to her and by making her marry someone who wasn't mentally, like, they had her marry someone who could manipulate her and who couldn't take care of her too, because he had other wives to worry about. Athena was married as a plural wife, and shortly after she became pregnant. I'm not going to say the pregnancy in detail, but I am going to just bring up one thing. This story went around in the order when I was in the order, in the cult that I grew up in. And the story was that Athena didn't understand like what was going on with her body. She didn't understand like how pregnancy worked. And so as she was like 5 or 6 months along enough in her pregnancy to where you could see the bump, she tried to basically like surgically remove the baby from her stomach. I'm not 100% sure how she did it. All I had heard when I was in the cult was that she had tried to cut her stomach open. Again, I don't know, I wasn't there when it happened, but all I know is that after she had finally had the baby, they took the baby away from her and had him raised in a different wife's family. And the child didn't know who his like real mom was. Because he was put into this other family in the group because his mom wasn't going to be able to take care of him. So I don't know if the thought process of the family was that they were gonna have her take care of the child after that, and then they saw what happened when she got pregnant and realized she couldn't, or maybe they knew all along that she couldn't take care of a child and that's what the plan was, is that they were gonna get her pregnant and then have someone else take care of the baby. I don't know. All I know is that later on that child was bullied and made fun of for his mom being the R word. That's what they would say. They would bully her son in school because his mom was mentally disabled. And I don't know if that still happens to him. I hope not. Athena is still a member of the order. Her family is still there, and her son is still being raised in the other family as their child. I think after that they kind of realized what a big deal it was to force Athena to get married and have a child, and so they didn't have her living with the husband. They had her living with her mom and moving back home. I'm not sure too if she like continues to think like to have a relationship with the husband, because like I don't even know why they would try to do that in the first place. Well, I know what their logic was. It was to bring as many souls to the order as possible, but anyway, sadly, there's not a lot that someone with mental disabilities can do. Like think about it, like it's really hard for someone like even like me to leave this religion, this cult, so it's like a 0% chance for a mentally disabled person to leave unless like their family leaves and brings them with. So I wanted to answer this question because I've had this question asked a lot, and I've had people with some disabilities asking like, I have disabilities and I'm wondering what happens to people in the cult with disabilities, which is a very valid question, and sadly it's not a happy answer or a happy ending. There's quite a few of them. There's quite a few members in the order who have been born with disabilities. Sadly, because of the inbreeding, at least back when I was younger, there was a lot of people born with different either mental disabilities or social disabilities, or even like born with parts like limbs, missing ears, stuff like that. Like I'm not gonna go into super detail, but that's why I continue to speak out, because I feel like there's a lot of people that their stories will never be heard and their voice will never be heard. Not that they never will, but like I just feel like this is the only way that I feel I'm doing something to make a difference, because there are stories like Athena and these are my cousins, these are my family, and I feel like there should be justice for people like Athena. So, sorry this video is kind of a sad one. I don't know how you could make it a happy, like, upbeat video with this type of serious issue. I just wanted to kind of answer your guys' question with a true story, and if you guys have any other questions like this, feel free to leave them in the comments down below and I will totally do a video on it. I'm going to try to do a video that's not so serious and dark, but sometimes these stories from my cult can be kind of heavy. Athena is still a part of the order today, and Athena is still affected by all of this stuff, and it's a very serious topic, and I don't want people to look at it lightly. Anyway, so that's an idea of what they do to mentally disabled people. It's kind of the same for elderly too. With elderly, they just don't really, because I've gotten that question a lot too, like what happens to elderly people in the order. I think I answered it on Sam and Melissa's channel too. It's like once they can't get any more use out of you, then they don't really care about you. And I don't know if you guys have seen the episode on escaping polygamy that shows Fred, but like kind of how they just like locked him in a space without very much stuff and left him alone. Like that's kind of what they do. They don't really take care of the elderly. I feel like a lot of it is elderly abuse, and it's kind of sad because once they use you up, then they just kind of toss you out. So anyway, I hope this video was informative. Sorry, it's a little bit sad. But in my next video it will be a little bit more of an upbeat video. As always, you can leave your comments and questions in the comment box down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.